Hi, welcome back to Garden Ninja. Now today's update on the Gardening Without Plastic Challenge is going to show you how the seedlings are doing in the greenhouse. Now the sun's out, everything's bursting into life, the hedgerows are alive with the sound of birds. How have things been going with the Gardening Without Plastic Challenge? Well, come on, I'm going to show you. Now the wooden seed trays have been great. They heat up really quickly, allowing the germination to happen a bit faster. If you need to increase the temperature, I've used a sheet of glass, if you can see that there, behind me to act as almost like a recyclable propagator, because I can use that time and time again and clean it. It'll last for absolutely years. We've also got terracotta pots. Those have worked really well. The luzula and some of the grasses like the millium have taken an awful long time to germinate. We're talking 3 months now, but they're slow growing anyway. But it has meant that I've had to water them an awful lot more than I would do if I was using, say, plastic propagator or plastic seed trays. Now here are Helenium hoopesii, and they have finally germinated. And you can see a few around about here, some there. Now when they're at full height, they'll be up to sort of 80 centimetres, a metre in height, but they are very tricky to germinate. So I'm really pleased that those are. Some more heleniums here. These are called red and gold. They're going to look amazing. Now here are the scabious that have grown, and they've really rocketed up. You can see how big those are. So I'm just picking these out at the moment, putting them into individual containers. And if I whiz around over here, you will see that I've got them in a mix. We've got the poo pots. Oh no, we've got the cow poo pots here. Recycled cardboard, we've got the coir containers, and I mean these are so thick, they feel really robust. And then you've got your bottom of the line, newspaper made little plant pots. And as I said, those will probably only last max 4 to 6 weeks, which is why I'm only using them for picking out. But this is a really good, cheap and cheerful way to bring on your seedlings. If you want to give them a bit more rigidity, you can stick them in, yep, guess what, an egg pot. So now that we're at the stage of pricking them out, I can also start to introduce these paper pots. Now the reason why I didn't use them at first when I was sowing the seeds is that they don't last very long, and some of these plants have needed about 2 months worth of germination, and the newspaper simply can't withstand that amount of moisture for 2 months. They fall to bits, but they're great if you're going to prick on seedlings and they're only going to live in there for about 3 or 4 weeks. So I'm trialling those now, and you'll be able to see the progress later on in the series. So these borage are ready to be hardened up. Now, borage don't like having their roots disturbed, so I've grown them on in larger pots to begin with, and then I'm going to harden them off, and I'm going to plant them directly in these pots. If I take them out and start faffing about with them, you get a bit annoyed and kind of go, ugh, for a few weeks. So we don't want that. So these are going to go in the cold frame. So the reason why we put them in a cold frame is that they've been in that protective environment for a couple of months now, and they simply won't survive if we have a sudden frost or a real drop in temperature. So by putting them in a cold frame, which is just a fancy name for a box with a clear lid outside, you can get them used to those lower temperatures and the fluctuations. So you put them in the day you leave the lid up, unless it's really frosty, snowy or there's a cold snap. You can leave the lid up at night as well, and they'll just get used to that change in temperature. If it is going to be cold, you pop the lid down to protect them, but leave them in, don't keep moving them around or else they'll never get hardened off. So once your seedlings are nearly to size where you're going to be planting them out, like these borage, you need to harden them off. Because they've lived in that glass house for a couple of months, they're kind of a little bit tender. And what we need to do is to take them to a cold frame like this one. In you go. There we go. I've not had any issues, touch wood, with damping off, powdery mildew or any of those other humidity related issues. And I do think that's because the pots and the trays can breathe and there's better airflow. They're not being wrapped or smothered in plastic. So whilst it slows the germination down, I think the issues with disease and especially damping off can be reduced by not using plastic. So you might be wondering at this stage, well, why is Garden Ninja showing us all these weird and wonderful herbaceous plants? And there is a logic to the madness, that if I can grow these tricky herbaceous specimens without plastic in things like paper pots, poo pots, newspapers and bog rolls, then you can pretty much grow anything. So I'm taking difficult seedlings to grow and showing you that they can be grown without plastic. So even at home, growing sunflowers, tomatoes, cress, whatever you want to grow, it can be done without plastic. So there we have it, the next stage in the Gardening Without Plastic Challenge. I've pricked out some of the seedlings, I'm now hardening them off, and I'll be giving you an update soon enough about the next phase of this, the Gardening Without Plastic Challenge. If you've liked this video, why not subscribe to my YouTube channel where there are loads more garden design hints, tips and hacks. I've been Garden Ninja, the sun's out, I've got my specs out, happy gardening.